going to sleep now, but I wanted to record a quick note about the day. Today was like the most objection, like today was the most like resistance filled. Today was the most like everything is getting in my way and trying to go wrong for me, and I'm having to swerve at the last minute to prevent crap from like happening. I haven't experienced a day like this in a really long time. And yesterday was the first time that I made a video where I was like addressing people and like saying I love you in a video and like trying to help people because that's what I wanted to do. And all of a sudden, like today is like this weird like hell day. It was just really weird. And I can't talk about it right now because I have to go to sleep. But I just wanted to record this because I will forget about it if I don't have a note of it. So, also want to mention that I started watching The Matrix yesterday, and I've been watching The Matrix throughout the day. I'm almost done, but it's the first time in my life that I'm watching The Matrix, and I think it's weird that like today was the day that it was like right after I started watching The Matrix as well, because it just keeps coming up. People keep talking about it, and um, I feel like I was supposed to watch it later, because if I had been exposed to it like years ago, it would have just freaked me out, and I wouldn't have had the like foundation laid of like all kinds of stuff that I don't know how to even like talk about right now to like make me actually like register the movie like in what it's saying. I would have been freaked out by a bunch of stuff, and now I'm like, oh, uh, specifically what was really like important was learning about, because I had reached my own conclusion that there might be like a creator of this world, but if he's there, he's either neutral and uncaring in a Machiavellian kind of way, or he's straight up like a psychopath or a sadist. And then like to find the Gnostic like idea of the universe with archons and the demiurge, I was like, oh, like somebody already thought of this, and you guys are saying this is like related to the apostles and Jesus. I don't know if you guys are the ones who have the truth, because you might just be bullshitting me, because you might be accepting stories that you like that you haven't verified, because like how in the fuck are you supposed to verify that, you know what I mean? But like having that like, and the reason like for why like that was something that didn't break my mind, learning about the demiurge and all this stuff as like an actual thing that people talk about, was because my life became so horribly freaky 6 years ago that I've been just like trying to figure out how to like not like, I've been trying to figure out how to deal with it, not deal with it emotionally, but like how to genuinely like practically like move through the world when all these weird things keep happening and all these weird people keep doing weird things and I have no one to talk to. And so like after years of that, like it's been so fucking difficult. I don't even, and even as I'm saying this, I'm like, I'm talking to the internet, I'm talking to YouTube. I don't have this concept that like people who might see these videos are my supporters. I'm like, it's just that it's gotten to this level where it's like I have to do something, and this is like the next thing to be done because there's something else to do in a way for now, you know? And so like if I had seen The Matrix like before I reached the point of being like, I think there's a creator God and there's like a weird, it wasn't a thinking thing. I had experienced stuff that was impossible. Like I was reading Night by Elie Wiesel and I felt the evil fucks in America, and now everybody knows about it. I think that's why I'm able to watch The Matrix now, because I'm like, now everyone's talking about how like extremely disturbing people in power in the States are behind the scenes of stuff. And so now I feel like I can breathe a little easier because I'm like, I'm not alone anymore in seeing what the fuck I've been seeing for the past 6 years. And it takes like a huge load off my back because I'm like, if I were to say something, people wouldn't be like, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? They would be like, well, add it to the list. Do you know what I mean? And like that helps me. And so like now I can actually watch The Matrix and see things like babies being like fed liquefied matter made out of dead human bodies in a recycling program created by the like badly thinking AI monsters. Because if you give me this movie like before 2020, before these years of like having like the shock and the constant like, is this really happening? Did that really happen? Oh, I want to like tell a story because like the forgetting is like one of the things that, I mean, it's weird. Like I call it the monoculture because I got that word from trying to understand what communism was, and there was an Italian communist thinker who like described this term monoculture, which is the feeling that the whole world is living in one reality, but in fact, there are different kinds of realities happening for different people. I think he meant it in terms of like poor people and people with no influence are not seen or represented, but they're still alive and real, you know? But I'm like, and that was helpful, but like the Matrix is saying like it's like it's like this invisible thing that's always on and it's aware of you. And if you start to like, I just can't believe that this movie this whole time was about this. The thing that I experienced. Like the most like weird example that I can tell you is that like during 2020 2021 when I was going to the library and reading American history books and Black history books and fight and realizing what America was. America is like, I used to say something. I used to call it something back then because I was like freaking out and just like screaming into the like fucking like ether like in my apartment, just like because there was this feeling of like invisible minds like of like dead Americans who were the ones who like wanted slavery and wanted the Native Americans to have nothing, like those evil fucks, you know? It was like a sense like their like invisible presence trying to crush me. And they were like yelling things. There were these like arguments that I would have with these like minds like trying to like berate me, and I would just like angrily like respond to like all this. It wasn't even thoughts. It was like it was like a feeling thing of like sensing something telling me some shit, and then I would just respond to it. It was not thoughts. It wasn't like, it wasn't clear. It wasn't like language in my head, but it was this like thing, and it was horrible, you know. But I used to call it something. I used to call it like, America is like the Reich when it was never defeated. Like I used to say shit like this. I used to have these phrases. Like I was like a one woman Black Panther fucking like, yeah, that's what I was. I was like a one woman Black Panther fucking like resistance like force. It was horrible. And so during that time I was rereading Night by Elie Wiesel because I sensed like the energy that was happening was the same as like the Nazi shit that I read about when we read that book in high school. And I remember one time, because you know like they gassed the Jews in those like in those like gas chambers in the Nazi concentration camps. And I opened the door to like my front door, and I smelled gas. Like I smelled gas. At first, I smelled it in my apartment, and I was like, "What is that? It smells like paint, but like really strong." And then like I was like, "There's no paint here." And then I thought like maybe someone's painting in the hallway, and I opened the door, and there was no paint smell in the doorway. There was no like gas smell in the doorway of the building, and I was like, "Where is that coming from? Like, are you fucking kidding me?" I like went out to like the neighbors must be painting. Like, where is that coming from? And it wasn't coming from anywhere. And then I was like, I remember one time watching this like scientist talk about how smell is a quantum field event and not a particle thing. Like you're not smelling particles of stuff. You're like as a quantum field event. And I remember thinking like this scientist is talking really fast. He seems to know what he's talking about. It was this random grainy like video on YouTube. It wasn't anything sleek or polished or popular. It wasn't like a well watched video. Do you know what I mean? But there he was saying this weird shit, and I was like, I don't know if he's for real. I don't know if there's some bullshit that nobody can verify, therefore he can get away with it. But he said that, and I was like, I will never understand what he means. And then when I smelled the gas, like, or like the paint, like the strong fume smell in my apartment, and it wasn't in any like or surrounding hallways of my building where I was living, I was like, I think I know now what he meant. Like, they're literally giving me this like fume smell in my apartment specifically only because they're trying to make fun of me. Like they're trying to just like make me feel like I'm alone, and they can press these buttons and make me have these experiences that no one will believe, but I will forever know that like it happened because it was like a smell. Like it wasn't like a thing that I can imagine, and I just kept having these experiences. Like one time there was like I used to have I had a windowsill and there was something standing on the windowsill, and then I saw a flash really fast, like a flash of like a ray of like a flashing ray. It hit the windowsill, and what the little object, I forget what it was now, that was on the windowsill, it fell. And I was like, I really did just see that, didn't I? Like there was an object in the windowsill, and then something like a ray that was like a flashing ray really quickly flashed onto my windowsill from behind like the IKEA paper blind that I had on, and the little object fell. Like the window wasn't open, it wasn't a breeze, and I'm like, no one will ever believe me, because like what the like why the fuck would like what do you mean? Another time there were there's these insects that came from behind the stove, like in that apartment when I lived in the States, and I was like doing one of my like 3 hour long like fucking Black Panther, just like speaking, because I felt like what I was doing was pushing back against the almost like in how there's like subliminal messages, but there's also like this thing almost like how like dogs can hear sounds humans can't. It was like this notion that I had that was like there's like an inaudible radio station, and it's sending out these